For millennia, Ilum was a sacred world to the Jedi Order, where Jedi younglings would travel to retrieve the lightsaber crystals for their first lightsabers. Covered in snow and ice, it was one of many planets throughout the galaxy that naturally contained large quantities of kyber crystals. But after the Jedi Order was exterminated, what became of the planet? Quick heads up, I will be covering some very light spoilers for the book Ahsoka. This video will be covering mostly canon information, but to give a quick Legends answer, some survivors of Order 66 used Ilum as a safe haven because its location was known only by the Jedi. But the Empire scoured the Jedi Temple archives, discovered the planet, and sent forces to occupy it. They killed the Jedi there, sealed off the temple, and built their own research facilities. But more importantly, what do we know happened in the canon? Actually, the stories are fairly similar. About 1 year after the end of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka ventured to Ilum in hopes of retrieving 2 new lightsaber crystals. She had buried her lightsabers from the Clone Wars hoping to fake her own death, and was in need of some new ones. When she arrived, she found the Empire well established. They desecrated the once sacred place, ripping chunks of the planet out down to the core. The Empire acquired kyber crystals to power the Death Star's super laser, and mining operations took place on multiple planets. But the most devastating case we've seen so far has been Ilum. Kyber crystals are not visible to the non-force sensitive eye, so teams of miners were sent to remove large pieces of the planet indiscriminately. That's pretty much all we officially know about Ilum after the Clone Wars, but there could be far more to the story. It's possible Ilum could have eventually become the planet-destroying superweapon of the First Order, Starkiller Base. Honestly, this isn't a new theory, but 2 recently released books, Ahsoka and Star Wars: The Complete Locations, have provided more evidence that I think make a very strong case. The theory first came about because a canon map of the galaxy showed Starkiller Base's origin point to be at least very close to Ilum's location on a Legends map. Considering they're both snowy, icy, cold climate planets, people started making the logical connection. If we connect some of the dots between Star Wars: Complete Locations and Ahsoka, I think this theory becomes even more likely. Complete Locations states specifically that the crystals inside Starkiller Base were mined and used in the construction of both Death Stars. Thanks to Ahsoka, we know Ilum was used for exactly that purpose. We can also read about how the First Order came across the planet in the first place. After the Battle of Jakku and the official end of the Galactic Civil War, the loyal Imperials fled into the unknown regions to gather their strength. But before doing so, they stole information out of secret Imperial labs which contained not only the location of the planet that would one day be Starkiller Base, but also the research into the technology that would eventually power the weapon. Ilum was located in the unknown regions, and it was a location known by the Empire that would not be common knowledge to the Rebel Alliance. There are a few arguments I can think of that go against this connection. First is that Starkiller Base and Ilum look somewhat different. Ilum seems to be harsher, and Starkiller Base looks like it has more plant life. But really, we've only seen one location of Ilum. That location doesn't necessarily represent the entire planet. Also, it could just be the difference in interpretation between an animated show and a live-action film. Second, and this argument isn't completely valid because half of what I'm about to say comes from Legends, but the sizes don't match up. Starkiller Base was a small planet, 660 kilometers in diameter. For reference, that's smaller than Pluto. We don't have a canon size for Ilum, but in Legends it was said to be a little over 5,000 kilometers, which is slightly smaller than Earth. But again, that source is from Legends and can easily be changed for canon. Third, the destruction described in the Ahsoka book also doesn't seem to be shared by Starkiller Base. Holes taken out of the core and all that. But it's possible the chunks taken out were simply integrated into the construction of the weapon. That would certainly make construction go faster. I would say it's even possible the Empire itself began construction on Starkiller Base during the Galactic Civil War if their labs contained research necessary for the weapon to work. At this point, I am in favor of this theory. I think there are too many connections for them all to just be a coincidence. If it's true, it would provide an excellent link between The Force Awakens and the prequel era. As of right now, those connections are few and far between. Thematically, it's also kind of heartbreaking that a sacred place to the protectors of the Republic was eventually turned into a terrible weapon that destroyed the New Republic. What do you guys think? Do you think Starkiller Base was originally Ilum? Or do you think they're just two similar planets in the unknown regions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page to help me continue creating videos just like this. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.